Hello everyone, welcome back to this video. Disha here. We're going to start with the 31st shlok in this video, which is, O son of Partha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Now coming to the 32nd shlok, which says, that understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. Now coming to the explanation of this shlok. Intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working the opposite of the way it should. It accepts religions which are not actually religions and rejects actual religion. Men in ignorance understand a great soul to be a common man and accept a common man as a great soul. They think truth to be untruth and accept untruth as truth. In all activities, they simply take the wrong path. Therefore, their intelligence is in the mode of ignorance. Now coming to the 33rd shlok, which says, O son of Partha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. Now coming to the explanation of this shlok. Yoga is a means to understand that Supreme Lord. One who is steadily fixed in the Supreme Soul with determination, concentrating one's mind, life and sensory activities on the Supreme, engages in Krishna consciousness. That sort of determination is in the mode of goodness. Now coming to the 34th shlok, which says, but that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjun. Now coming to the explanation of this shlok. Any person who is always desirous of fruitive results in religious or economic activities, whose only desire is sense gratification and whose mind, life and senses are thus engaged, is in the mode of passion. Now coming to the 35th shlok, which says, and that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Partha, is in the mode of darkness. Now coming to the explanation of the shlok. It should not be concluded that a person in the mode of goodness does not dream. Here dream means too much sleep. Dreaming is always present, either in the mode of goodness, passion or ignorance. Dreaming is a natural occurrence, but those who cannot avoid oversleeping, who cannot avoid the pride of enjoying material objects, who are always dreaming of lording it over the material world, and whose life, mind and senses are thus engaged, are considered to have determination in the mode of ignorance. Now coming to the 36th shlok, it says, O best of the Bharats, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. Now coming to the explanation of the shlok. A conditioned soul tries to enjoy material happiness again and again. Thus he chews the chewed. But sometimes in the course of such enjoyment he becomes relieved from material entanglement by association with the great soul. In other words, a conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification, but when he understands by good association that it is only a repetition of the same thing, and he is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness, he is sometimes relieved from such repetitive so-called happiness. Now coming to the 37th shlok, it says, that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Now coming to the explanation of this shlok. In the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses and to concentrate the mind on the self. All these procedures are very difficult, bitter like poison, but if one is successful in following the regulations and come to the transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life. Now coming to the 38th shlok, which says that happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be of the nature of passion. Now coming to the explanation of the shlok. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and the sense objects is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. Now coming to the 39th shlok, which says, all that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end and which arises from sleep, laziness and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. Now coming to the explanation of the shlok. One who takes pleasure in laziness and in sleep is certainly in the mode of darkness, ignorance, and one who has no idea how to act and how not to act is also in the mode of ignorance. For the person in the mode of ignorance, everything is illusion. There is no happiness either in the beginning or at the end. For the person in the mode of passion, there might be some kind of ephemeral happiness in the beginning and at the end distress. But for the person in the mode of ignorance, there is only distress both in the beginning and at the end. Now coming to the next shloka, which says, there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Now coming to the explanation of the shloka, the Lord here summarizes the total influence of the three modes of material nature all over the universe. Now coming to the next shloka, which says, by following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now coming to the explanation of the shloka, by following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. Now coming to the 46th shloka, which says, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Now coming to the explanation of the shloka. As stated in the 15th chapter, all living beings are fragmental parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all living entities. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And as stated in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord, by his two energies, his external energy and internal energy, is all pervading. Therefore one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnava devotees worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His external energy is a perverted reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the expansion of his plenary portion as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the super soul of all demigods, all human beings, all animals, everywhere. One should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one has his duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotion service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. That is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Harsikesa, the master of the senses. And by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, should be worshipped. If one thinks always in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. With this, we complete the first 46 shlokas of this chapter, and we are going to continue with the 47th shlok of this chapter in the next video. My name is Disha, and I will see you all in the next video.